Hey man, this is A$AP Ferg and this is a Hard Knock Life. Shout out to hardknocktv. A$AP. The first artist that made me want to be a hip hop artist is A$AP Rocky.
Do you remember what you were doing when you're like, I want to do this for a living?
I was making clothes for a living, and it was mad hard for me to pay for supplies and materials and leather and all of that stuff. So, like naturally, rapping is a natural ability, which I only have to pay for studio time. And if I have my own setup, I won't have to keep paying for studio time. So it was like, you know, I have a invisible canvas. I don't have to keep going out there and buying canvases and buying, you know, utensils and paint to keep making my masterpieces. It just comes from my mind and, you know, out my mouth.
We interviewed A$AP Rocky a couple months ago. How did you guys link up?
Well, me and Rocky, we both from Harlem, and you know, we was like minor celebrities where we was at. We was well known. We was pretty popular with the females, and we had a lot of friends that was like, you know, everywhere doing a lot of things as far as fashion, modeling and stuff like that. But naturally, we just got together because we was into the same things, you know, rapping. He knew I was a rapper as well. He knew I was into clothes. We was like into the fly stuff, Rick Owens, Margiela, and it's but so much people from Harlem that's into that. So, you know, naturally we got together and we combined and, you know, we became A$AP. Style I would say is like more aggressive, more vicious when it comes to like lyrical. His is more like laid back. It's, I think they call it cloud music. You know, Clams Casino, he uses a lot of Clams Casino production. Me, I'm like Frankie P, very rare, kind of like an old Neptunes kind of sound with hard drums and 808s. But we really have a lot of similarities, more than differences, as far as the taste of music and sonically how we want our music to sound.
Get in your skin like a dermatologist. Bunch of dirty niggas who ain't never been to colleges. Fuck your hypothesis, I'll be on that rider shit. Bang 'em over the head, I bet that shit is silencing. Margiela stallion, bitches be Italian. God pray for me, I know my daddy's smiling. I'm gonna make you proud. Save me a cloud and when I make it in heaven, you be by my side again. Bless on my ballot.
Who are some of your early influences growing up as far as is hip hop or not hip hop?
I would have to say N.E.R.D. as a group, Pharrell, Shay, and Hugo changed my life forever. Like, that N.E.R.D album, like after hearing that, it was like I wanted to listen to different music. These was the only guys you seen, like they was black, but they had like white girls in a video, riding bikes. They was nice on BMX bikes, and they had like all the fly clothes on that nobody knew about. Well, from my hood in Harlem. And it was like I identified, as well as my crew, identified with these guys because that was us in our neighborhood. People will look at us different because like they didn't understand where our style came from. And I think at the time we didn't even understand where our style came from. We just did it because it was a natural thing to do. We wanted to be different. We wanted to be pioneers of our own fashion, of our own culture. And that's just what we're taking on right now.
Now, when you say N.E.R.D. album, was that the first album or the second album? Was the one with like lap dance and like
lap dance?
Yeah,
definitely.
The first album.
Yeah,
okay.
I love that album.
That's what's up.
Shout outs to Pharrell, swag.
Have you guys got a chance to link up yet?
I actually did a song with Pharrell. It was like me, A$AP, Nas, 12E, and Rocky.
Okay.
We did a song called A$AP Girl. It never really got released yet, but we got like a lot of stuff in the works with Pharrell. Pharrell's like the godfather of the crew. Like he comes to all the events and, you know, check us out sometime. Now
I heard that you're working with some artists, one of them being Bone Thugs. How did that come about and what was that like?
Actually, it was a guy by the name of Dave the Jew. He travels with the Bone Thugs or whatnot. And I was in the studio finishing the recording of my album, Trap Lord, and he was like, man, I think that you'll sound dope on some Bone Thugs track. And he was like, yo, they fly in today. I could have them come right to the studio. So they came right to the studio, like right off their flight. They was like on tour and everything. And they like blessed my whole, they was like, yo, we're big fans. They knew about work. They knew about like my songs already, all the freestyles, you know, and they knew about the movement and they was like pleased to work with, you know, the young Lord. So it was just like, man, let's do it. I also got I got Onyx on there too. Onyx came through, yeah. Like y'all the first to know that. I ain't released that yet. So I got Onyx on a mixtape as well. So
that's all gonna be on Trap Lord?
Exactly. So y'all got a lot to look forward to.
Okay. What can you tell us about Trap Lord? Do you have a release date? Like
not as of yet, but it's gonna be ASAP. I'm releasing it ASAP.
Now I'm curious, when you work with Bone Thugs, did you switch your style? Like when they work with Biggie, like Biggie kind of like rhyme like
switch the style?
You switch the style.
Probably because Biggie was in the studio with them when he did it, but I kinda like did a verse on it already and said, listen, that'd be dope if I could put them on this song. The song that I was actually I had a few people I was gonna put on the song, I put Bone Thugs on. It just happened that way. Like, not to take away from these artists, but it was gonna be either Schoolboy Q, which is cool because I already got Schoolboy on another song, which I just told you another feature that I have on my album. And then Chase Infinite, which is also like part of my management team that manages me and A$AP Rocky. Like, you know, he used to like rap and he's like exactly, you know, self-scientific. So, you know, I wanted to put him on the song, but like Bone Thugs, like I can't turn that down. So it was like,
so you tell me you kick Chase off so you can put Bone on.
Nah, don't say that. I ain't kick Chase off. Chase, you know what? Chase is always gonna be there. So Bone Thugs ain't always gonna be there.
Exactly. Chase the homie.
No doubt. It's a mixtape, but I really call it an album because like, I mean, the features is out the roof. Like, who has like Bone Thugs on their first mixtape? You can't call it a mixtape after that. You gotta call it an album. I mean, I have production all from like people from Clams Casino to Very Rare to Frankie P to Crystal Kane, who did 100 Million Roses. She engineers all of my work. You know, she recorded me for the Work song. You know, it's not a mixtape, it's an album. It's all original, so.
If I die before I wake, I pray that ASAP will be great. My mama good and my girl be late, so it'll be another me and the world be straight. Damn, that nigga did his thing. He took over and changed the game.
I mean, visually, like, different things influence me so much, and I'm just now learning how to like work with other people as far as like the artist direction. Cause I want Rocky to direct some of my videos. I want Nasty to have input like in some of my videos. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be open to different ideas versus like, you know, my look on things because they got visions for me as well. So you know, that comes as like, you know, the day comes. So I can't really say what I'm gonna do for the future because the future is gonna be something else.
How does the collaboration process work between the A$AP camp, right?
It really happens naturally and organically. Like, you know, it could go anywhere from me sending the record out to Nas, or like me and Nas work really good together when we go to the studio. So like we like to get in there together and like, you know, do tracks and songs together. Like Banging on Wax, I think that song came out so good because we was in the studio and it was a cohesive process. But as far as like the rest of the crew, you know, with things getting kind of hectic, you know, 12E and Rocky always being on the road and me being away doing like, you know, my thing, we have to kind of like, we gotta conform a little bit to like, you know, what's going on now, and accept the fact that, you know, I'm not gonna always be able to be in the studio with these guys. So when we in the studio, we gotta get as much work done as possible and make history. And when we're not in the studio together, we have to send over beats and tracks. But it really don't work that way anyway, because we just love being with each other in the studio. So.